welcome everyone. We appreciate you coming out today. Those joining us live now, it's a lot of fun. I'm really pleased to be hosting today, and pleased to welcome Beth and Ryan, who are of Reef Capital Partners and Marcella Resort, golf and skiing, right? Which we'll get into some of that today. Thanks for being here, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This will be a fun conversation. Some of this comes and stems from a really wonderful relationship which we formed with Reef Capital and with Patrick Manning in particular, who is kind of your counterpart down at Black Desert and what they're doing down there. And we'll talk some about that today, obviously too. But I'd love to let the audience know what I know a little bit about the two of you. You have amazing backgrounds and your experience. And starting with Beth. Beth, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your career, and then how you ended up with Reef Capital Partners and doing what you're doing now at Marcella?
I would love to. I was born and raised in Louisiana, so I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana. So you'll excuse the southern accent, it comes out when I'm holding a microphone. I was actually preparing for the 1980 Olympics at LSU. They canceled the Olympics. I decided to pivot, finished getting my degree in accounting, got a master's in business, and went to work for hospitals. So I ran a hospital in New Orleans, and then later met my husband, moved to LA, lived there 17 years, CFO at Cedars-Sinai, and then we decided my son wanted to ski race at the age of 11, so we decided to move to Park City for a year. And that was 19 years ago. So you get there and you tend to stay, especially coming out of LA.
Utah's a contagious place.
It is. It's a wonderful place. Never had it on the map to go to, so I went from Louisiana to Los Angeles to Utah. Those are my destinations thus far. Who knows what's next? When I got to Park City, there was not a hospital there. So I went on to the board of Intermountain that was building the Park City Hospital, stayed on that board for about 12 years. And in the meantime, a friend of mine said, you know, they're building this golf development out in Promontory. You ought to go take a look at it. So I did, and it was an already existing now golf course, but started there whenever there was 2 houses out there, and now there's probably 1,600 houses. And that's where Ryan and I first met. And I was there for 12 years in my position, and then for an additional 3 years, I started the Promontory Foundation. And then after I left to go run a nonprofit in Park City, I continued to run that foundation. So once leaving Promontory, went over to be the CEO of People's Health Clinic, and I did that for 6 years. And then I received a phone call from Ryan again and said, look, I'm involved in this really special thing, and I would love for you to come in and talk to us. And that brings us to today.
I love it. What's your history now, Ryan? Give us a little bit. I know you're a local guy, like myself. You grew up on the East Hills of Salt Lake.
Yeah, Brighton High School, went to the University of Utah. Actually was trying to play basketball in college. That's a whole other story, but didn't play golf, which most people think. But I had some opportunity. I played golf my entire life, so got injured in college and kind of got serious about golf a little bit more, and was just going to the University of Utah and had some doors open to me in the industry, and I just kept walking through them and stuff. So started off in golf in the county system. Then I went to the Hidden Valley Country Club, was there for a little while. I bounced back and forth between Hidden and Promontory a little bit, but I was the director of golf at Hidden Valley for about 9 years. So I ran that facility for a time, and then I got recruited back to Promontory. The first time is where I met Beth. That was back, 2008, I think, is when 2000, somewhere in there. But I ran Promontory again, so I was the director of golf, ran everything up there for a while. And then I had some opportunity. I had some ideas of some golf growth in the state of Utah. At the time, I was serving as the president of the Utah Section PGA, so I've been kind of involved in all of that stuff for a while. And had some opportunities to help kind of golf in Utah grow even further, because Utah is very unique in the sense that we grew a little bit with kind of the early 2000s, kind of, they called that the Tiger boom at first. And but we were not like everybody else. We didn't go crazy like that. We had a little bit of golf growth and stuff. Most of the private growth was in Park City, not necessarily down in the valleys and that sort of thing. So I had some ideas on how some other things that we could do, what we could do, and I kind of got paired up with Reef Capital at the time with my ideas and what they were just starting off with a couple courses. One in Virginia, they have called Cut Along, that's now open and stuff. That's kind of the silent reef part that people don't know too much about just because it's out of state. But they were just starting to talk about Black Desert, so I started consulting with those guys. Still working at Promontory for a while, and then we started talking about Marcella project. I was fairly keen getting the land involved on that one and stuff. So, but once we started that project and kind of locked it all up, that's when I started full-time with Reef and kind of going down that road. So I do everything. So my official title is the Director of Golf Development for Reef. So everything that they have that's golf is kind of my thing. Kind of fun role.
Brilliant. And we'll talk some about that today. I'm a golf junkie, not a great golfer, but I love golf. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's fun to be part of that.
Yeah. And so I know that, let's see, Marcella was announced how long ago now? Year and a half-ish? Or not quite that?
Yeah, we probably announced that we were doing it when we got everything under contract, because we were talking with Xtel for the position. So how it all came about was Reef, again, is investment company. They were just looking to purchase the real estate lots that were on the Deer Valley side. So the conversation of the expansion of Mayflower into Deer Valley was going about for a while. Once they had the MITA, everything that was the commitment they had up there for a lot of the contracts and stuff. But there was 150 private lots on that hill that Reef was able to purchase and get kind of control over. Again, I was at Promontory at the time, and when they did that, I was consulting, and I knew of a guy that was managing some land across the freeway. And I came to them with the idea that, hey, there is room in Park City for one more really kind of high, elite, over-the-top club, even more so than the one that I was running. But Promontory is a lovely place. It was just maybe a little bit oversold, and that was kind of the idea behind it, is make it and keep it a little bit more exclusive. So the announcement came probably was about a year and a half. And it was once we were able to get everybody in the room and kind of pitch them on the idea of this private club that was including where you could live on the ski hill or you could live at the golf course. Once we had both those things locked up, that's kind of when we made the announcement. And how Tiger kind of was in is I was already talking to him. Promontory was looking to expand another golf course, and so I had all these feelers out for other developers and stuff up there, and it was just, the cards just fell right in place.
Well, I'd love to ask a little bit more about that in a second, because it's cool. For those that don't know, Tiger Woods and his design team have designed that course along with Ryan and a number of others, which is such a unique and cool experience for us here in Utah too. It'll just be really fun. For Beth, for those that may not know how the geography works, there's the Marcella side, which is east of why am I blanking on the big resort?
Oh,
Deer Valley, I apologize. Sorry, Deer Valley. I love skiing up there. But east of Deer Valley and then west of Jordanelle Reservoir, correct? And then the golf course is where, so that people understand?
okay. So we always look at Marcella. It's one club, but with a ski side and a golf side. The ski side is at the new expanded Deer Valley, so it's in the Deer Valley East Village is what they call it, and it's right there at that Mayflower exit off of Highway 40 as you're heading down into Heber from Park City. So you can either get off there and go into the ski area. If you pass that, you come down to a red light. If you went to the left, you'd go to Midway. If you go to the right, you go to Midway. If you go to left, that's where you'll wind up, and that's where you'll enter Jordanelle Ridge, which is that ridge top, and that's where the golf courses will be built.
And it's beautiful up there.
It's extraordinary. I told the gentleman, I had a nice long member call this morning, and he said, should I just buy without seeing it? And I said, it doesn't matter, because the minute you go up there and take a tour, I literally have had no one go up and do a tour that didn't come back and jump on it. So yeah, it's extraordinary.
It is extraordinary. So one of my favorite things about it, to be honest, is, and I'll let you tell how this is going to work because I don't want to botch it, but from what I understand, the course is receiving all the love, not necessarily the home sites. So the two of you together kind of explain how that's going to work and the vision of that.
Okay, I can tell you between the two sides, there are 150 ski in, ski out lots at East Village, 350 lots that will have full memberships attached to them, but there's going to be more than 500 lots behind the gates of the golf community. So there'll be lots that'll be available that don't have memberships attached to them. So of those 350 lots right now, they will be spread out throughout the community, mixed in with those 500. People are getting their deposits put down now so that they can be on the reservation list to then choose one of those lots when we release them. The ski lots are all released, and our golf lots will be released sometime in December.
And the golf course itself really is. It's kind of it's the rock star on the property is how we kind of look at it. It's what's very unique about the golf course up there at Marcella is, again, having ran a few of them, it's in Park City and been around many of them. If you're familiar with even Glen Wild, Victory Ranch, Promontory, all the courses there, the golf courses are kind of in the bottom part of it, and the houses overlook everything. So the houses have the views, they look down on the golf courses, and they have the views. The golf course at Promontory, at Marcella, is the highest point of the property. So it's on all the peaks, it's up on all the slopes, that sort of thing, and then down below it is where, only on one of the holes, on the Tiger course, will there even be houses. So it's going to be free and clear of almost all houses, very, very much open space, but it's amazing the views that you have on probably 13, maybe 14 of the holes, the views that you have, and it's not just a certain thing. It's like the Uintas, it's looking into Midway, looking into Heber City, and then also looking down at the reservoir.
Not to say that every one of those, probably 400 of the lots, will have really remarkable views of either Jordanelle with the Uintas, or back behind you to Deer Creek and looking up at Temp. A matter of fact, what I think will become our signature hole, where we'll have our comfort station, has the most beautiful view of Timpanogos. My son is getting married at Sundance in August, and I was like, can you just wait a year? Because this is going to be the most beautiful wedding venue that you've ever seen, but they're in a hurry, so.
It's one of my favorite little valleys when you come to that east side of Jordanelle and that space. It's just so beautiful, and which is where we're talking about, and then up on the hill will be the course. Ryan, share with us maybe some of the insider knowledge experience that you've had now working with Tiger Woods and his team and designing the course, because I know you've had some really great hands-on experience with that and being able to do it with them.
Yeah, my first experience came with Jack Nicklaus at the Promontory course. I was there originally when Jack was actually there doing it and that sort of thing. So having seen how Jack does it, and then again very involved with Tom Weiskopf at Black Desert as well. So Tom did a fantastic job down there. It's been very, very interesting to see how each one of these guys are somewhat different on it. So they all have a co-designer that does a lot of the work, and then when the big guy comes in, whether it be Jack or Tiger or Tom, it's like you listen to kind of what his vision is, and sometimes he completely changes things. Sometimes he likes exactly how it looks because they've done so much of it on paper before they get there. But it's been great to be able to see. Our original meeting was with Tiger back east, and he was so excited about just the property in general, how it had been described to him, how we were going to use the property and stuff. But it's been fun to see these guys get excited about this property as well and see that. But it's really cool to see these guys work, and to see a property like Black Desert even too, to see Black Desert go from the lava field that it was to an amazing golf course, and to see what's happening up on this hill. We've had to use a little bit more dynamite and stuff than we thought with some of the rock up there, and there was one big hill that we needed to get to be a little lower, and it was really stubborn and stuff. But it's amazing to see the shape of this property, because it really is lending itself to what these guys want it to be. It's not as much excavations maybe as I even just described to it, but it is just kind of massaging it through the hills and letting it take shape. It is going to be a pretty big course, though. It will be probably the longest one in the state. Yeah,
longest in the state for sure. One of the longest in the country, as Golf Digest mentioned too, right?
It will be. Yep.
So there is a 700-yard par 5. Is that true?
There will be at least one of those, yeah.
At least one?
Yeah, he's not done with that.
But it's downhill and it's in the mountains. You get that next
Yeah,
year.
I'm sure you'll get a little love from the
Yeah.
mountain.
We had there's two of those at Promontory as well, some really long ones. But we're actually at a higher elevation than we are at any other courses as well.
Yeah, well, isn't it the highest elevation of any course in the state?
It is.
Is that
yeah.
accurate?
Yeah, it is. So 7,500 feet above sea level is where we actually land on some of the highest points, almost 76. But yeah, the ball carries quite a bit up there, so it's going to make sure that it's challenging. The one thing that Tiger really likes about his designs is he wants it playable for everybody. He wants it so that doesn't matter if you're a 36 handicap, lady that's playing that doesn't hit it very far, or if you're a scratch player or a tour player, you're going to have a great time on this golf course. So
A little unlike Nicklaus.
Nicklaus is a little bit tougher sometimes.
On women.
The Nicklaus course at Promontory is one of the toughest. It's Red
It is a
Ledges,
tough course.
very, very tough. I ran that course for 8 years, so I know exactly everything about that. But it's this one is way more playable and stuff. And a funny story about that real quick. When we first met with Tiger, I asked him what he was working on with his son Charlie, because everybody knows what Charlie's kind of doing. And he says, I just want to take away all of his wedges. So when he's around the green, he just wants to hit a 60-degree flop shot everywhere he goes and stuff. So there's a couple times they'll go to the course and he'll take his wedges out of his bag until he gets there and he figures out that he's got a chip with an 8-iron everywhere he goes and stuff. So, but it's very much how Tiger kind of does what I've seen a lot of his courses so far is he's very much a ground game. If you're a player, it means he wants you to be able to putt from 50 yards off the green. And he doesn't put a ton of bunkering around greens and stuff, but it is very playable, but it's still very challenging.
Yeah. So it's like a lot like a links style course, traditional golf course.
Yeah, there's not a ton of trees. He used everything we had up there, all the foliage and everything we had. He used it very, very nicely. But it's very open, but it can be very demanding in a lot of spots too. You'll see the par threes are, we have a very long par three as well. But
is it true that it's over 300 yards?
Yeah, we have one little over 300. So a little downhill. So, but
it's an intense par three.
It is. Yeah, if the wind's blowing, it's going to be a tough one. But it's going to be. There's I believe 6 different tee boxes, 6 or 7, and he on some of those holes he'll put a couple extra ones as well. But it'll be very playable.
Awesome.
Very playable.
Sounds amazing. Beth, for those that may want to be informed on potentially getting in on a membership, how many are left? I know it's in pretty high demand right now.
So the developer on the 150 ski lots went ahead and purchased those. So if you buy one of the ski lots, you get the membership is actually sponsored by the developer. So those 150 are gone. We have 217 people that have already signed up for memberships and on that reserve list on the golf side. So it leaves 133 memberships. I think we'll be sold out at this time next year.
If you want one and you're hearing this, call Beth.
Yeah, call me. It's beth@marcellaclub.com. You might want to reach out.
It's not like you need the pub because it's going fast
No,
anyway.
yeah.
And the makeup of memberships, as we were talking before, isn't it roughly 50% are local?
It is, but almost exactly. And but I think that it's also now changing because most of the people who joined early were friends of Reef. So that were some of our investors and a lot of people that we already had connection to. So they got sort of that early look. And then as it's just been that word of mouth. So I have a lot of members that are up at Deer Crest, at Deer Valley, because they don't have a golf course. And a lot of those are initially came to me and said, look, I'm going to buy a lot on the golf course and I'm just going to hold it. I'm never going to build on it until they got over there and saw it. And they said, well, maybe I'll sell my Deer Crest house. So we have a lot of people that had in their mind what they were going to do. And as you know, people always used to say in Park City, you came for the winter, but you stayed for the summer. And I think that that's what we're going to have a lot of, is those people that think that it's going to be a second or third home for them, and they'll probably end up there at least 6 months in a day, depending on where they're moving from. So if we, if we just do what we're doing right now, which is no advertising, word of mouth. I have one member that sent us 7 members. Just, I think they're going to build a little commune there on the golf course.
That would be fun. That would be really fun. Let's talk a little bit about, so let me give a little bit of history here. We became pretty close friends with Reef Capital and the partners, and then Patrick, as mentioned before. And Black Desert and Reef have been incredibly generous in donating a sponsorship to Silicon Slopes to work on a variety of projects for entrepreneurs and startups, which has been awesome. It'll include some events that we host down at Black Desert. Just been so generous. And the project down there, I know the two of you have had obviously some involvement and insight there. And the approach of Marcella and really Reef Capital Partners has been making a large impact for the state and helping give back. Share with us a little bit of that vision, both down there and the projects like, for example, the practice facility, which I'll let you tell how that was set up and who gets to use that. It's kind of a gift to the state and one of the universities, and maybe some of the other nonprofits you're involved with.
Yeah, so for Black Desert, I'm down there usually once or twice a week. This week it was just for 2 days this week, but it's fun to be part of that project because it really is, and Patrick especially, he is always looking for opportunities to kind of give back and to help and that sort of thing. He wants it to be a very, very good partner in the community. Black Desert Resort's just taken off. If you're familiar with that one, when we were able to get a PGA Tour event already for this October, that's going to be coming down there. But we have
part of the, just to be clear, part of the FedEx Cup.
It's a big
tour.
It's a big
it's
event.
A big deal.
Yeah. It's a big
Tough
deal.
to get anywhere in the world for that matter, but for us to get into Utah is really cool.
Yeah, and it's going to be great. It was funny. We sold out of volunteers the first day we put it out. Who wants to volunteer? It's just the community is so excited about it. But yeah, we partnered with Utah Tech College down there. We wanted to have that as a good opportunity for them as well. We actually built a short game facility that's going to just really help with the recruiting to that college and stuff. So we're really trying to make an impact in the community down there, and Patrick is all about that. We've even started to look on how we can support some Utah kids. I'm not sure if anybody was watching golf this last weekend, the Desert Classic in New Orleans. Yep. So we had Patrick Fishburne and Zach Blair did really well in that tournament this year. And Patrick Fishburne is a guy that we've just barely got his card, so we brought him in on Team Black Desert and sponsored him and put some logos on him and stuff. So we're trying to help some golfers come out of the woodwork and stuff and get them to the next level as well. So, but just what they're trying to do down there, and again, access to the impact too. Like Governor Cox is going to hand out the trophy for the winner of that tournament as well. So he was all over that. So we're looking for some good partners down there, and Patrick's awesome at that. He's really good.
Yeah, they've been great.
We haven't even talked about the FedEx Cup, of course, this year in 24, but in 25 we'll have the LPGA down there as well. Marcella is actually going to be a sponsor of those events, just as we were with the Epson event that we had in Midway this year.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to play in that one at Soldier Hollow.
Yeah,
that was
Soldier
really
Hollow.
fun, that LPGA Tour event, and just incredible golfers.
Yeah.
It was so much fun to be there. And I know also Patrick and the team at Black Desert are also supporting a number of female golfers down that are local there, and getting involved with some upstart, even like clothing companies in golf, which is really cool. It's great support. And another thing that I became aware of was they're working with the culinary arts program from Utah Tech as well, who will be providing quite a bit of the food and catering at a number of the events, which is really fun. It's really fun.
Yeah, they actually started a whole program at Utah Tech that's going to where we can kind of mentor and bring them in, have them work and kind of like an internship. I've always been very big on that as well, the upcoming of kids or people that are interested in the golf industry. So UNLV has a program that's an intern program, it's PGM program for those kids that are kind of coming up through the PGA. So we'll be kind of a hub for that as well. But it's going to be a really big, just for that entire community, especially the college, I think is definitely one of the best beneficiaries of Black Desert for sure.
And we're working the same way with UVA up here in Wasatch County.
Brilliant. If there's a person out here that maybe obviously most can't join Marcella, how would they go about trying to golf and play there?
Become friends with a member. It's a good idea. Or be supportive of some of the nonprofits that will be having golf tournaments out there at some point, and I'm sure it'll cross most of your desks where it'll be opportunities to play in these great fundraising opportunities for these nonprofits.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wanted you to mention, and which is amazing the way you've committed to a number of nonprofits to have their tournaments up there, which is a rare thing, a rare opportunity for nonprofits that are local. What else could you tell us? Are there any other things you want the community to know about Marcella and Reef Capital and the impact you're making locally?
I would just say that it really, we've had a lot of questions when we announced that we were going to do this. Some of them very, very good, valid questions. Some of them not in favor of what we're doing up there. But I think for the most part, we're trying to, again, bring more opportunity, more of, there's nobody happier about our project than, I would say, Wasatch County, because a lot of these, that's actually the address of our golf course is going to be that. So it's out of Summit County, that sort of thing. So the impact to that, to what that's going to be there, it'll be one of their first really, really big communities that's basically in their I guess taxes and county, that sort of thing. So the golf side of it, or the ski side of it, is still in Summit County and stuff, but we're really trying to be the best partner that we possibly can over there when it comes to all of our development. What we're trying to do, the property that we are actually on is a Sorensen family property that has 10,000 acres to it. We're using, I think it's just over 600 acres for our actual club and that sort of thing. And it really made the developer for that property completely change everything that they were doing. And actually, I think it was for the better, quite frankly. It was a lot less homes they were putting on the property and that sort of thing. So, but it's, it's very exciting to be part of it. It's exciting to see how everybody has pretty much embraced what we're trying to do. And again, we are going to be a very private club. But it's been, we mentioned it before when we were talking. We're 130 memberships from being sold out, and we've spent $0 in advertising. So you can see that it's something that I, just being in Park City for as long as I had, I knew that it was going to be something that was in demand and stuff. So we're happy to fill that gap and that hole that was kind of needed up there. I think for this I don't know if it'll be the last club, but one of the few really high-end exclusive ones up there. So we're excited about it.
It speaks volumes to also to the quality of partnership and people involved with Reef Capital. When you have good reputation and you've done good business in an honest way and helped with impact along the way, it's relatively simpler to grow something because of that network and the people. And we at Silicon Slopes, we've really appreciated the partnership. It's been awesome, and many others across the state and really nationwide. It's great to have capable groups doing good things in our communities. So kudos to you and the team.
Thank you for saying that. That was the one thing that I was going to say. Beyond how beautiful the property is and how wonderful the golf course is going to be and how great the amenities are going to be, it's the people that are coming in, but more importantly, it's the heart of the people that are developing it. They're the best people I've ever met. Truly, they're leading with their hearts, and I think that's the real. We were talking about what makes this unique. I think that's probably the number one thing that makes it unique.
I agree with you, Beth. Of those that I've met, I completely agree. Good people, good hearts, and making good impact. I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I've been the only one able to ask questions. So we'll open up a little bit to the audience here that's joining us today. If there are anyone would like to ask a question, Becca has a mic, and we'll take a few minutes, take a few questions, and do so.
So, as you were illustrating all of this, it sounds beautiful and quite enticing. I guess my question is, since, former Netflix owner Reed Hastings has purchased Powder Mountain, and he's selling that, obviously, can you just give us some talking points, which I obviously up Deer Valley and all that's going to be way better, but can you give us maybe some differentiation points just for our own conversations when people ask or when we talk to them about it?
Location, location, location.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have to go up a hill for like a half hour and get an oxygen mask.
We're
right?
40 minutes and 2 turns from the airport, which I think is, for a lot of people traveling in, it's key. I think that, and by the way, I know several of the developers and owners there, and I love what they're doing.
Yeah.
And again, talk about exclusive.
Yeah.
And we're not quite at that price point, so
Okay.
that's some of the differentiator. I think it's just a different product. It's more, that private ski has some people interested, but we've got now the biggest ski resort in our backyard in the continental U.S.
Wow.
I think another thing goes along with it as well is kind of, again, having been at Promontory and up in Park City, the demand for the 2 seasons has been really, really big. And what we're planning on doing, Promontory is kind of king of the hill when it comes to amenities and everything that you can do outside of golf and ski. We're looking to do a little bit of that too, but one of the things that really drew me to this property when they were talking about doing it, it was the uniqueness of the 150 lots that are literally on the hill at Deer Valley. This is, I don't see too much real estate left that's that kind of ski in, ski out like that. And it's the Deer Valley brand. Even the private runs that go to their house are going to be groomed by Deer Valley. You know, so it's going to have that unique Deer Valley experience with the accessibility to it. Again, no lights from the airport, just a straight shot to your house if that's where you live. And then the over the top experience that they get on the golf side of things, which we will start adding some more amenities for us. We have a long list of things that we're planning on doing on that hillside over there. But it really is. It's going to be the full year experience, full year.
That's great. I bet you've been getting that question a few times anyway right now, right? So,
Right. I think it's going to be our fly fishing access.
there you go. Thank you.
That is one that's great. The things you mentioned in a marketplace, refer to that as an unfair advantage, or next level advantage, which you have. It's great. Any other questions? David, Mr. Politis.
So I'm curious, given the general excitement and acceptance of Black Desert, is it too early to be thinking about potential PGA tours at Marcella? Or I'm assuming they're talking to you and you're talking to them. What can you share, if anything?
So it may be a little early, yes. So the whole idea behind this, when I was at Promontory, PGA event was something that we had discussed up there for a golf course that we were going to build and that sort of thing, which, again, the one that put me in connection with Tiger. So we have had this conversation. You know, I can tell you this without disclosing too much, there's other things in the hopper that we're working on that I'm in close contacts with the PGA of America and the PGA Tour. So I would love to see something possibly up there. Quite frankly, I'm not sure how much that property lends itself to. And the reason why is exactly what we discussed before, is it's at the top of all the hills. And everything kind of bleeds off the side of it. So stadium style would be a little more favorable for a course that's like that. But I don't want to promise anything, but I can probably give you a hint that the PGA Tour event in Black Desert won't be the only thing that we'll eventually do.
So Ryan, one for you, one for her. Is there going to be more than one golf course, or is it just one golf course deal?
Yeah, so Tiger's actually doing his big course for us. He's also doing a par 3. It's going to be probably like a 12-hole par 3. And then we also have another designer that's going to do another 18, and that's King and Collins. And they're kind of a young, up-and-coming kind of duo. They've done probably 6 or 7 courses total. Landman and Sweetens Cove in Tennessee is kind of a couple they've done. But they're awesome, really, really good to work with. And there's going to be a very friendly kind of walking style. It'll be an 18-hole golf course, but we'll have 2 18-hole courses and a par 3 course at Marcella.
Just really quick to jump in, if you haven't looked up Keenan and Collins, go look up what they do. It's a really cool kind of a new age approach and kind of a hip, accessible approach to courses. It's cool stuff.
They are the new young up-and-coming guys for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
And it's King Collins.
King Collins. And for Beth, in 1980, when Jimmy Carter decided not to go to the Olympics, what event were you training for?
Anchor on the relays and the 200.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But I still could probably outrun anybody in the room.
That was devastating.
I believe that.
Devastating.
Life-changing, for sure.
Join me in thanking Ryan and Beth for joining us today. We really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
so
It was a great
much.
time.
Yeah, kudos.
Thanks, guys.